Have you ever felt insecure about important decisions, overly concerned about other people's opinions, or anxious about what the future holds? Modern life is fast-paced, full of pressures and comparisons, and it's easy to feel like we're never up to par. But what if I told you there's a path to building true confidence, one that doesn't depend on the approval of others or external circumstances? Stoicism offers powerful tools for developing self-control, taking ownership of your own story, and transforming adversity into growth. Imagine being able to face challenges with courage and determination, react to criticism without letting yourself be shaken, and find inner peace even when everything seems beyond your reach. This ancient philosophy doesn't promise a life without difficulties, but it teaches us to focus on what we can truly control: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. The dichotomy of control, personal responsibility, and mindfulness of the present become allies in building solid self-confidence, which grows with each conscious choice. What many don't realize is that insecurity almost always stems from ego, the desire for approval and constant comparison. By applying Stoic principles, we learn to free ourselves from these patterns, cultivating humility, compassion, and purpose. Small daily practices, such as reflecting on our attitudes, simplifying decisions, and valuing the present, serve as exercises in strengthening inner confidence. The result? A lighter, more serene and meaningful life, where true security comes not from external sources, but from within. If you're ready to take charge of your life, turn failures into learning experiences, and embrace your role as a protagonist, this content is for you. Throughout this guide, we'll explore step by step how Stoicism can be applied to everyday life, helping you build lasting confidence, overcome subtle insecurities, and live with purpose. Prepare to discover that self-confidence is within reach for everyone who decides to look within and act courageously. The dichotomy of control, where your strength lies. Modern life is full of unexpected situations that test our emotional balance. We often feel at the mercy of the world, trapped in a web of anxiety and insecurity, trying to control everything, from traffic to other people's opinions. This is where the dichotomy of control comes in, the idea that our true strength lies not in dominating the outside world, but in taking command of our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. When we begin to practice this principle, each small step toward managing our emotions brings a sense of empowerment and brings us closer to a more centered and purposeful life. By focusing on what we can control, we notice that anxiety decreases and our ownership of our own story is strengthened. For example, instead of worrying about whether a coworker will approve your idea, you focus your energy on how to present your point clearly and confidently. This simple act of personal responsibility transforms the way we face challenges and gives us the courage to act, rather than reacting impulsively or insecurely. Every positive thought, every conscious action, becomes a tool for shaping our growth. Adopting this perspective also requires full attention to the present. Life happens now, not in the past or in an uncertain future. By developing self-control, we learn to respond to adversity with serenity, transforming obstacles into learning opportunities. Small daily habits such as writing reflections on the day, meditating, or simply pausing before reacting help strengthen our resilience. Each moment of self-awareness is a step toward inner peace and overcoming subtle fears that we often don't even notice. The constant practice of the dichotomy of control teaches us something valuable. We don't need to win everything or be approved by everyone to feel whole. Our inner security depends on clarity about our limits and the courage to act according to our values. By internalizing this philosophy, we discover that real power lies in choosing our reactions, cultivating simplicity and purpose in every action, and embracing life with determination and compassion. This not only protects us from insecurity, but also promotes continuous transformation and growth. The power of responsibility, taking the helm. It's all too easy to fall into the temptation of blaming the world for our difficulties. Traffic, our boss, lack of opportunities. Everything becomes an excuse for frustration. Stoicism, however, offers us a liberating perspective, taking full responsibility for our actions and choices. This isn't about punishing ourselves or carrying guilt, but about empowerment. When we recognize that we are the authors of our own story, we stop being victims and become protagonists. Every decision, no matter how small, carries the potential for transformation and personal growth. By accepting the helm of life, we begin to realize that our reactions to events are more important than the events themselves. For example, if you receive criticism, you can react with defensiveness and anxiety or with reflection and learning. This choice shapes your resilience and your ability to overcome challenges. With each conscious step, we exercise self-control and reduce insecurity, building a sense of inner security that no one can take away. Practicing full responsibility also strengthens our purpose. When you understand that every action you take contributes to your own future, you gain the courage to take calculated risks and face failure as part of the process. This protagonism in action, you decide, you react, you grow. Small practices like setting daily goals and reflecting on how your choices impact your well-being help you internalize this mindset in a concrete and accessible way. The power of responsibility extends beyond our personal lives. It influences relationships, work, and emotional well-being. By owning our choices, we reduce the anxiety caused by the need for external approval and develop humility, empathy, and compassion. Recognizing our influence over our own lives allows us to act with greater serenity, transform adversity into opportunities, and live with greater determination and inner peace, making each day an opportunity for learning and overcoming challenges. The inevitability of adversity and the forging of resilience. Life rarely follows a straight and predictable path. It's full of ups, downs, and unexpected surprises. Insecurity arises when we try to avoid discomfort or failure, but Stoicism teaches us that adversity is inevitable and, in fact, an opportunity for growth. Each challenge faced with courage and determination strengthens our resilience, making us better able to deal with future obstacles. Facing problems head-on transforms fear and anxiety into learning and empowerment, reinforcing our role in our own story. Practicing self-control during difficult times is essential. When something doesn't go as planned, we can choose between despair or reacting with calm and focus. For example, if a project fails, instead of wallowing in guilt or frustration, reflect on what can be learned and what actions can be adjusted. This simple process of reflecting on thoughts, actions, and reactions builds a solid foundation of resilience, allowing us to face each new adversity with greater confidence and purpose. Failure, when viewed through the lens of Stoicism, ceases to be an enemy and becomes a silent teacher. Each setback brings valuable lessons about limits, possibilities, and priorities. Courage and determination develop when we learn to pick ourselves up, accept reality, and move forward without allowing ego or fear of judgment to paralyze us. This mindset guides us to live with humility, compassion, and mindfulness, seeing adversity as stepping stones to transformation and personal growth. Furthermore, facing difficulties strengthens our inner peace and sense of purpose. By embracing life with simplicity and awareness, we realize that not everything needs to be perfect to be meaningful. Resilience isn't about passively resisting, but about adapting and learning from each moment, using adversity as fuel to overcome. Each challenge overcome brings us closer to a more secure, balanced life, filled with actions and thoughts aligned with our true selves. The virtue of humility, freeing yourself from ego. Ego is one of the greatest challenges of modern life, often fueling insecurity and fear of others' judgment. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in humility and the ability to recognize that we don't need to be better than anyone else, just to be true to ourselves. By letting go of the constant desire for approval, we find freedom and inner peace. Humility doesn't mean underestimating ourselves, but understanding that we are part of something greater and that our actions should reflect compassion and balance. This practice transforms the way we relate to others. Instead of competing for recognition or trying to impose our vision, we learn to listen, understand, and act with empathy. This approach strengthens our self-control, reduces silent anxieties, and creates an internal space of safety and serenity. Humility, therefore, becomes a tool for dealing with failures and criticism, allowing each experience to become a learning experience for our personal transformation. A practical example is adopting daily reflection habits, such as writing down 3 things you're grateful for or recognizing moments when you acted with compassion. These simple practices lessen the weight of the ego and strengthen awareness of our actions and thoughts. As we develop this mindfulness, we realize that external judgment loses its power over us, and that true approval comes from living according to our principles and purpose. By cultivating humility, we realize that true strength lies not in displaying achievements, but in maintaining courage and determination even in the face of challenges. Embracing this virtue allows us to live with greater simplicity and inner peace, transforming subtle insecurities into solid confidence. It's a path of silent empowerment, where growth, overcoming, and resilience become natural consequences of a life guided by values, not vanity. Living in the present, finding peace in simplicity. Anxiety often stems from our tendency to dwell on the past or project into the future. Stoicism reminds us that the only moment we truly have is the present. By cultivating mindfulness, we learn to appreciate small, everyday experiences, like the taste of a meal, a sincere conversation, or the sensation of walking outdoors. This practice of presence reduces insecurity and strengthens inner peace, allowing our actions and thoughts to align with our purpose. Living in the present also means simplifying, reducing distractions, letting go of the superfluous, and prioritizing what truly matters helps us focus our energy on conscious choices. For example, instead of worrying about social media or external judgments, we can invest time in activities that promote personal growth, such as reading, meditation, or exercise. This clarity transforms anxiety into determination and connects us with our true selves, reinforcing our role in our own story. Another important aspect is accepting that not everything needs to be perfect to be meaningful. Life happens now, with all its ups and downs, and beauty lies in experiencing each moment with attention and compassion. By letting go of regrets and worries, we make room for new experiences and learning. The daily practice of focusing on the present strengthens resilience, allowing us to face adversity with serenity and courage, without being dominated by fear or ego. Ultimately, cultivating presence and simplicity leads us to a profound form of empowerment. The freedom to act without external pressure, to react with self-control, and to build each day with purpose. When we apply these principles, we transform small choices into steps toward overcoming obstacles, growth, and self-confidence. Life becomes lighter, more meaningful, and full of learning opportunities, demonstrating that inner peace is the result of the consistent practice of living with attention, courage, and humility. After exploring Stoic principles, it's time to reflect. How can you apply these lessons to your life today? What small actions can transform your thoughts, reduce your anxiety, and strengthen your inner confidence? Every conscious choice, every moment of mindfulness, and every act of personal responsibility contributes to you becoming the protagonist of your own story. Remember, it's not about eliminating challenges, but about responding to them with courage, humility, and determination. Think about the obstacles you've faced recently. How could you have reacted more consciously, with more empowerment over your actions and less attachment to external approval? What would it be like if, instead of blaming or worrying, you focused on what's within your reach, cultivating resilience and self-control? These reflections are valuable exercises for strengthening your growth and transforming insecurity into lasting inner security. Stoic philosophy reminds us that life happens in the present, and that peace and confidence come from within, not from external factors. Ask yourself, am I living each day with mindfulness, purpose, and simplicity, or am I letting ego and fear dictate my reactions? By internalizing these principles, you'll discover that true self-confidence comes from clarity about your values, acceptance of your limits, and the courage to act in alignment with what truly matters. If you want to continue this journey of transformation, apply the dichotomy of control, cultivate resilience, and live more fully, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Each video brings concrete practices, insights, and reflections that strengthen your leadership and inner peace. Remember, confidence isn't something you achieve overnight, but something you build day by day, step by step, with courage, empathy, and determination.